Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Listen and Learn English. I'm Bruno.
And I'm Carol. We're so happy to have you here with us for another day of English listening practice.
Today, we're talking about something that is probably very close to you right now, technology in everyday life.
That's right. Most of us use technology from the moment we wake up until we go to bed. We use phones, computers, apps, headphones, online maps, digital payments, and so much more.
Technology can make life easier, faster, and more convenient. But sometimes it can also be distracting or stressful.
In this episode, we'll have a relaxed conversation about our own technology habits. We'll talk about smartphones, useful apps, social media, work, online shopping, and finding a healthy balance with screens.
This is a great topic for B1 and B2 learners because these are conversations you can have with friends, coworkers, classmates, and people you meet while traveling.
As always, don't worry about understanding every word. Just listen naturally. Try to notice useful expressions and how we use them in real conversation.
All right, Carol, are you ready to talk about our digital lives?
I am, although I may need to put my phone away first.
Good idea. Let's get started.
Let's go, Bruno.
Let's begin with the most obvious piece of technology in our lives, the smartphone. Carol, what's the first thing you do with your phone in the morning?
Honestly, I check the time. But after that, I usually look at my messages. I try not to check social media immediately because once I start scrolling, I can lose a lot of time.
I know exactly what you mean. Sometimes I pick up my phone just to check one message, and then suddenly 20 minutes have passed.
Yes, it's so easy to get distracted. You open a message, then you see a notification, then you check an email, and after that, you're watching a video about something completely unrelated.
That happens to me all the time. I might start by looking for the weather forecast, and 5 minutes later, I'm watching someone repair an old car on the internet.
That's the magic and the danger of the internet. There is always something interesting to see.
Do you use your phone as an alarm clock?
I do, but I'm not sure it's the best habit. The phone is right next to my bed, so it's very tempting to check it late at night or first thing in the morning.
Same here. I've tried using a normal alarm clock, but I always go back to my phone. It's just convenient.
Convenient is a very useful word. It means something is easy and practical to use. Smartphones are convenient because they do so many things in one small device.
Exactly. My phone is my alarm clock, camera, map, music player, calendar, notebook, and sometimes even my wallet.
Mine too. I remember when we needed separate devices for all those things. We had cameras for photos, CDs or MP3 players for music, paper maps for directions, and notebooks for appointments.
And if you got lost while driving, you had to stop and ask someone for directions.
Or unfold a huge paper map and try to understand where you were.
Which was not always easy.
Not at all. Digital maps have changed travel completely. I use them almost every time I go somewhere new.
Me too. Even if I know the general area, I like to check the traffic and find the fastest route.
Do you think you spend too much time on your phone?
Probably yes. I think most people do. I use it for work, communication, entertainment, and learning, so it's difficult to say what is too much.
That's true. Not all screen time is the same. Watching short videos for 2 hours is different from using your phone to learn English, call your family, or organize your schedule.
That's a great point. Screen time means the amount of time you spend looking at a screen, like a phone, computer, tablet, or television.
And it can be useful to check your screen time once in a while. Sometimes the number is surprising.
I checked mine last week. Let's just say I wasn't very proud.
Was it bad?
It was higher than I expected. I thought, well, I work online, so maybe it's normal. But then I saw how much time I spent on social media.
That's usually the shocking part.
Yes, it made me want to be more intentional.
Intentional means doing something with a clear purpose, not just automatically.
Exactly. Instead of opening my phone because I'm bored, I want to ask myself, why am I opening this app right now?
That's a really healthy habit.
It really is, isn't it?
So, Bruno, what are the apps you use the most?
Apart from messaging apps and maps, I use my calendar app all the time. If something isn't in my calendar, there's a good chance I'll forget it.
I'm exactly the same. I use a calendar for appointments, work meetings, birthdays, deadlines, and even reminders to call people.
I also use a to-do list app. It helps me organize my day.
Do you prefer a digital to-do list or a paper list?
I like both. A digital list is easy because I always have it with me. But there is something satisfying about writing a task on paper and crossing it out when it's finished.
I totally agree.
Crossing something off a list feels great. It gives you a small sense of achievement.
It does. And sometimes I add a task to my list after I already finished it, just so I can cross it off.
Bruno, that's funny, but I understand. We all need a little motivation sometimes.
What about apps for money? Do you use banking apps or payment apps?
Yes, all the time. I check my bank balance, pay bills, transfer money, and keep track of my spending through my phone.
It's amazing how quickly that has become normal. Years ago, people had to go to the bank much more often.
Now you can do almost everything from your sofa, but you do need to be careful with security.
Definitely. I always use a strong password and two-factor authentication when possible.
That's a good expression for learners. Two-factor authentication. It means you need 2 ways to prove your identity when logging in. For example, your password and a code sent to your phone.
It may take an extra few seconds, but it makes your account safer.
Have you ever forgotten a password and been locked out of an account?
More times than I'd like to admit. I have so many accounts now. Sometimes I can't remember which password I used.
Same. That's why password managers can be useful. They help you create and save strong passwords.
Technology solves one problem and creates another one.
That's very true. Another app I love is a note-taking app. I use it for ideas, shopping lists, recipes, and things I want to remember.
I use voice notes a lot. If I'm walking or driving and suddenly think of something important, I record a quick voice note.
That's practical. I sometimes send voice messages to friends instead of typing long messages.
Me too. A voice message can feel more personal than a text message.
Yes, because you can hear the person's voice, their emotion, and their reaction.
But some people send very long voice messages.
Oh yes. Sometimes you receive a 7-minute voice message and you think, should I sit down with a cup of tea before I listen to this?
Exactly. It becomes a podcast episode.
Maybe that person just has a lot to say.
Let's talk about social media. Do you think social media is mostly positive or mostly negative?
I think it depends on how you use it. It can be a wonderful tool for learning, staying in touch with people, finding communities, and sharing ideas.
But it can also make people compare themselves to others.
Exactly. People usually share the best moments of their lives online. Holidays, achievements, beautiful meals, exciting events, but they don't always share the difficult or boring parts.
So if you compare your normal Tuesday afternoon to someone else's perfect vacation photo, you may feel like your life is less interesting.
Right, but that comparison isn't fair. You're comparing your real life to someone else's highlight reel.
Highlight reel is a useful expression. It means the best and most impressive moments, not the complete reality.
Yes, I think it's important to remember that when we use social media.
Do you follow English learning accounts?
I do. There are many useful accounts that teach vocabulary, pronunciation, grammar, and everyday expressions in short videos.
That can be a great way to make learning part of your daily routine.
Absolutely. Even 5 or 10 minutes of English content can help. You can follow an account that boasts simple English tips, listen to a short podcast, or watch a video with subtitles.
I also like online communities. It's nice to connect with people who have similar interests.
Yes, you can find groups about books, fitness, travel, cooking, photography, language learning, almost anything.
But it's important to be respectful online too.
Very important. People sometimes write things online that they would never say face-to-face.
That's because the screen can make people forget there is a real person on the other side.
Exactly. I think we should treat online conversations the same way we treat real conversations, with kindness and respect.
Do you prefer texting, calling, or video calls?
It depends on the situation. For a quick question, I prefer texting. For a longer conversation with a friend or family member, I like a video call.
Video calls are amazing, especially when you live far away from people you care about.
They really are. You can see someone's face, show them your home, introduce them to your pet, or even have dinner together from different countries.
It's not exactly the same as being in the same room, but it's much better than nothing.
Definitely. Technology has made long-distance relationships and international friendships much easier to maintain.
Technology has also changed the way we work. A lot of people now work remotely, or at least work from home part of the week.
Yes, remote work has become much more common. It gives people more flexibility, but it also has challenges.
One of the biggest advantages is that you don't have to commute every day.
A commute is the journey between your home and your workplace. Some people spend a long time commuting by car, bus, train, or subway.
If you work from home, you can save that time. You might use it to sleep a little longer, cook breakfast, exercise, or study English.
But working from home can also make it harder to separate work life from personal life.
That's true. If your laptop is always nearby, you may feel like you should always be available.
I think it's important to create boundaries. For example, set working hours, take real breaks, and turn off work notifications at the end of the day.
I try to do that. Otherwise, I find myself checking emails late at night.
And that can make it difficult to relax.
Video meetings are another big part of modern work. Do you like them?
Sometimes they're useful because you can meet with people in different cities or countries, but too many video meetings can be tiring.
Definitely. There is even an expression for that, Zoom fatigue.
Yes, it means feeling tired after spending a long time in video calls.
I think video calls require a different kind of attention. You're looking at the screen, listening carefully, watching yourself in a small window, and trying not to talk at the same time as someone else.
Exactly. And sometimes there are technical problems. Someone's microphone doesn't work, someone has a bad internet connection, or the video freezes.
We've all heard the sentence, "You're on mute."
Probably one of the most common work expressions today.
You're on mute means other people can't hear you because your microphone is turned off.
And it's always funny when someone speaks for a full minute before realizing nobody can hear them.
That has happened to me. I was explaining something very seriously, and then someone said, "Bruno, you're on mute."
At least you are practicing your speech.
That's one way to look at it.
Technology has also changed education. People can now take online courses, watch educational videos, join online classes, and practice languages with people from all over the world.
That's one of the best things about the internet. Learning is more accessible than ever.
You don't need to be in a traditional classroom to learn something new. You can learn at your own pace.
At your own pace means at the speed that is comfortable for you.
Exactly. Some people learn quickly and others need more time. Both are completely fine.
Another way technology has changed our lives is shopping. Do you shop online often?
Yes, but I try not to do it too often. Online shopping is so easy that it can be tempting to buy things you don't really need.
I agree. You see an ad, click a link, enter your payment details, and a few days later, a package arrives at your door.
It's convenient, but it can also lead to impulse buying.
An impulse buy is something you buy suddenly, without planning it.
Exactly. Maybe you see a sale and think, this is a great deal, but later you realize you never needed the product.
I've done that with books. I love buying books online, but sometimes they stay on my shelf for months before I read them.
At least books are usually a good investment.
That's what I tell myself.
Online shopping is especially useful for things that are difficult to find locally. You can buy a specific book, a special ingredient, a replacement part, or a gift for someone who lives far away.
And you can compare prices very easily.
Yes, you can read reviews too, but you need to be careful because not every review is honest.
That's true. I usually read several reviews instead of trusting only one.
Do you use digital payments when you go out?
Almost always. I use my phone or card for coffee, groceries, transport, and restaurants.
Me too. Sometimes I leave the house without cash.
I think many people do now, but I still like to carry a little cash, just in case.
That's sensible. Technology is great when it works, but sometimes your battery dies, the internet stops working, or a card reader has a problem.
Exactly. It's always good to have a backup plan.
That's a useful phrase, a backup plan. It means another plan you can use if the first one doesn't work.
We've talked about many positive things technology brings to our lives, but how do you create a healthy balance?
I try to have small periods during the day without my phone. For example, I don't like checking my phone while I'm eating with someone.
That's a good rule. It shows the other person that you're present and paying attention.
Exactly. I also try not to use my phone for at least 30 minutes before bed.
Is that difficult?
Sometimes. It's easy to tell yourself, I'll just check one more thing. But then you see a message, a video, or an article, and suddenly it's much later than you planned.
I've started putting my phone on the other side of the room when I sleep.
That's smart. It makes it less tempting to check it during the night.
I also like taking walks without headphones sometimes.
Really? I usually listen to music or a podcast when I walk.
I do too, often. But every now and then, I like to listen to the city, the birds, the wind, and just my own thoughts.
That sounds peaceful. A digital detox can be helpful.
A digital detox means taking a break from technology, especially phones and social media.
It doesn't have to mean disappearing from the internet for a month. It can be something simple, like not checking your phone during meals or taking one afternoon off social media.
I think the goal isn't to stop using technology. The goal is to use it in a way that improves our lives instead of controlling our attention.
I couldn't agree more.
Well, that's all for today's episode.
Time flies so fast.
We hope you enjoyed this conversation about technology in everyday life.
Today, we talked about smartphones, useful apps, social media, online work, education, shopping, and taking healthy breaks from screens.
We also hope you heard some useful expressions such as screen time, highlight reel, two-factor authentication, work-life balance, and backup plan.
Remember, the best way to improve your English is to listen every day. You don't need to understand everything immediately. Just keep practicing consistently.
And technology can help you with that. You can listen to podcasts, watch videos, read in English, and practice speaking with people online.
If you found this conversation helpful, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel.
We post new English practice videos every day, so come back tomorrow for another relaxing conversation.
And tell us in the comments, what piece of technology do you use the most every day?
We'd love to hear your answer. In English, of course.
See you next time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.